It was a great day for Gareth Bale, so we wanted to see him back in action, really. I think Spurs fans were hoping for the holy grail of in some way having Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, maybe even Dele Alli and Gareth Bale. We got 3/4 of that. And actually, a brilliant performance from him, I have to say. 2 goals, an assist, man of the match. Couldn't have gone better from Ali.
Delighted. I must admit, I'm delighted, Clearly nothing against Sean Dyche and Burnley, but I just want to see Bale back to the Gareth Bale we know, and that was a step in the right direction. I thought he played well when he came on. Was it against West Ham last week?
Yeah.
I don't think listening to Roy Keane and Jamie, who had a bit of a go at each other, which was a good listen, I must admit. I watched that. I don't think Roy thought he did as well as everybody else thought he did, but I thought he did do well when he came on, to tell you the truth. And I thought it was great to see yesterday.
But who's right?
Do you know something? I'm going to tell you. I actually thought I thought it was an argument, but they were actually talking.
Don't say it.
The same thing. They were talking about the same thing. I actually think because every player that Roy was saying to Jamie, and Jamie was actually saying, "I agree with you, not good enough." I think the ones I only watched it the once, but the argument, they were actually. I thought they were actually agreeing on the players that were good enough. Do you know what I mean? And they were actually agreeing on the players that they didn't think were good enough.
I think ultimately, and I know what you're saying because it almost lost its way for a little bit, then found its way again. I think ultimately Jamie's saying it's a good squad of players, and Roy Keane's saying it's not a good squad of players overall. There's no doubt they're underachieving for the talent that's in that side, Ali, is there?
Oh, listen, 100% they're a better squad of players than they're producing, and the results would indicate. No doubt about that. I mean, we speak about. Listen, the problem is, I still think the problems are kind of in defence, and I agree with everything they were saying. The left back is excellent. The left back's the one player, Reguilon, out of defence. Everything else is, I think, is questionable. But if you get the front, look at the front four. What we spoke about, it's as good as anything. Bale, Mora, Son, and Kane. You throw Dele Alli into the equation if he can get himself back. Doing what Jesse Lingard's doing, back playing again and back playing, with a smile on his face and looking the part, then the front four would be as good as anything.
Yeah.
So, I don't think there's any doubt. The Spurs squad, you look at it in paper, it should 100% be doing better.
Next, we're going to do who would win in a scrap, Jamie Redknapp or Roy Keane.
I wouldn't be underestimating Jamie.
I don't think we should underestimate Jamie.
Never underestimate Jamie.
I mean, he's the younger of the two, obviously, and I imagine that he keeps himself in good shape.
Yeah.
I imagine that Roy does too. So maybe we should stick a poll out, really, shouldn't we? No.
We should get what was your programme? It was a brilliant one. It was Harry Hill. Remember Harry Hill?
TV
Burp. Tremendous fight.
Well, honestly, I was stood just next to Jamie that when that was happening. We just finished doing our bit for Sky, and I was like, I'll just chill out here for a minute. And then all of a sudden it blew up, and I was like, where did this come from?
Yeah, were you starting all right? Were you in the vicinity?
Yeah, I was right next to him actually. But what was quite difficult for Jamie, I thought, was that there was a delay. So obviously you can hear the studio in your ears, and then there's a slight delay from the studio. So I don't think it was. They should do it again in the studio with them both together and have a proper go at it. Do you know what I mean? So next time in the studio, Dave Jones, even if it's not really a Spurs game, should just go, guys, remember that time when you had that discussion about Spurs?
But it was strange because I thought effectively, although they were at each other's, but they were actually agreeing with each other.
There were points, you're absolutely right. There were points where they just agreed, Reguilon's a good player, etc., etc.